Hello students, I hope you all are doing well and be at home and be safe. We are going to continue the same chapter, that is electricity, and in the previous class we understood how to solve the circuits. We understood how to find the current and resistance in a circuit, and you need to practice more and more circuits from different books or the internet so that you can have confidence. Today we'll talk about series and parallel, means how they are having advantages and disadvantages. And we know even at home the appliances we have, they are connected in a circuit. So if they are connected in series or parallel, so that is what we are going to discuss today. And I hope you will be able to compare the series and parallel at the end. So let's start the class. So the topic we have: advantage and disadvantage of series and parallel combination. So in the previous classes we have understood the meaning of series and parallel, and we have also done the numerical based on the same. So now we will see how series and parallel are different from each other, means if the appliances are connected in series and in parallel, then what are the advantages and disadvantages we have. So we'll see, but before we start with the advantage and disadvantage, we'll go for some numerical based on the previous class knowledge, that is based on the circuit. So let's start solving the circuits. So the question is, find the potential difference across R2 and R3 in the following circuit. So circuit is given to you. So you can see there are three different resistors connected in the circuit: R1, R2, R3, that is 12 ohm, 6 ohm and 4 ohm, and a battery is connected of 50 volt. And based on this circuit we have to find out how much will be the potential difference across R2 and R3. Means if you remember, we understood across any resistor there will be potential drop, means there will be some potential difference, and that we can calculate with the help of Ohm's law somewhere. So if we understood how to solve the circuit, we can actually find out the potential difference across any resistor given in the circuit. So one thing you should know, before we go for the potential difference across any resistor in the circuit, we must try to find the electric current in the circuit. So in the main circuit, how much is the current, we must find out, and for that we need to find out overall resistance in the circuit, that is net resistance, and we know what is to be done. So very first we can see R1 and R2, they are in parallel with each other because they are connected between the same terminal A and B, or points A and B. So if Rp is the equivalent of R1 and R2, so we can say 1 by Rp will be 1 by 12 plus 1 by 6. Solving it will get Rp 4 ohm. So this circuit can be modified into another circuit. So now you can see the next circuit which I have shown to you. In place of R1 and R2, I have placed one resistor only, that is Rp of how much value, 4 ohm, which is nothing but the combination of R1 and R2. So this is how we can show the circuit diagram once we have solved a particular part of the circuit. And now it is understood Rp and R3, they are in series, and if they are in series, total resistance will be Rp plus R3, that is 4 plus 4, 8, and the voltage is 50. So we can find the current flowing in the circuit. I is equal to 50 upon 8, that is 6.25 ampere. Now this is the current flowing in the circuit. So this current will flow through Rp, this current will flow through R3 also. Why? Because they are in series, and in the series the current will be the same. Now if we have to find the potential difference across R2, R1, so both are in parallel, so potential difference across R1 and R2 will be the same, and that will be equal to the potential difference between A and B. Between A and B only these two resistors are connected in parallel, and we know how to find potential difference. V is equal to IR based on the Ohm's law. So we can say VAB, that is potential difference across AB, that is equal to VR1, potential difference across R1, that is equal to potential difference at R2, and this is nothing but I into Rp, because the value of resistors between A and B is Rp only, that is 4, and current is 6.25, so 25 volt. So we can say the potential difference across R2 is 25 volt, and that is same across R1 because they are in parallel. Okay, now if you know how much current is flowing through R3, we can find potential difference across R3 also, applying the Ohm's law only. So VBC, so BC nothing but the potential difference across R3, and this is nothing but I into R3, because the resistance is R3, current is I, 6.25 into 4, that is 25 volt. So we can say here the potential difference across R3 is also 25 volt, and you can understand one thing here, that is RP and R3, they are same, 4 and 4. Current is also same, so it is understood the potential difference across both will be same, and if you add it together, that is VAB plus VBC, that is 25 plus 25, 50, and that is nothing but equal to the potential difference or voltage of the battery. So this we understood in series combination, that is sum of the potential difference across each resistor in series is equal to the potential difference or the voltage of the battery. So you can see it is proved also. So this is why I did the numerical, so that you can get two different concepts. One, how to find out potential difference, and second, to prove that in series there is a potential difference across each, and the sum of all the potential differences will be equal to the potential difference or the voltage of the battery. So with one numerical we understood both the concepts. Next we have find electric current passing through R2 and R3 in the following circuit. Now you can see there are 4 resistors, R1, R2, R3, R4, and the battery is connected of 20 volt, and we have to find how much current will flow through R2 and R3. Now you can see R2 and R3 are in parallel because they are having common terminals one another side, that is A and B points. And we know if the resistors are connected in parallel, then the current will get distributed. So across R2 and R3, since the resistance is not same, so current most probably will change. But how to find out, we need to go for it. So again, one thing is clear, that whenever you have to solve the circuit, very first try to find the net resistance and net current flowing in the circuit, and then go for the next step. So if R2 and R3 are in parallel, so let RP be the equivalent. Solving, you'll get RP is equal to 18.75 ohm. So okay, so overall total resistance will be how much? Now this RP, you can see the circuit. So once we have solved it, the resistor, so in place of R2 and R3 we have placed one resistor of value 18.75, that is nothing but RP. So RP is the combination of or equivalent resistance of R2 and R3. Now we have 3 different resistors in the circuit, R1, R4 and RP, and it is understood all the 3 are in series. So current we can find out, because the total resistance we can find out easily, R1 plus RP plus R4. And since potential difference or battery voltage is 20, we know how to find the current. So 20 by 58.75, that is total resistance is 58.75 and voltage is 20. Solving it, we are getting 0.34 ampere. So we can say in the main circuit the current flowing is 0.34 ampere. And now we have to find current flowing through R2 and R3. So if you have to find the current flowing through R2 and R3, we should know the potential difference between or across R2 and R3, and since they are in parallel, both will have same potential difference. So we can say the potential difference across AB will be VAB is equal to I into RP. So because between A and B, how much is the resistance? RP. So resistance into current will be potential difference. So I into RP, that is 6.375 volt. So between A and B points the voltage is 6.375 only, and if we got the potential difference, the same potential difference is across R2 and across R3. So I R2, that is the current flowing through R2, will be potential difference across R2, that is nothing but VAB divided by the resistance, that is R2, because the current is V upon R. So 6.375 divided by 30 is equal to 0.21 ampere. So what we have done, very first we calculated the total resistance of the circuit, then we modified the circuit also, you can see. We found the current, and now we very first calculated the potential difference between A and B. Across or between A and B we have resistors R2 and R3. So if you know the potential difference between A and B, means that is the potential difference for the R2 and for the R3, and if you know the potential difference we can find the current, because resistance is given to you. So IR2 is the current flowing through resistor R2, that is potential difference across R2, that is VAB divided by R2, and we are getting 0.21 ampere. And IR3 will be VAB, because potential difference is same, divided by R3, the resistance only, and this we are getting 0.13 ampere. So you can see the two resistors R2 and R3, they are connected between the same 2 points A and B, but the current is not same because the resistance is not same. Okay, so even if the potential difference is same, the current may not be same in the parallel combination. But if you add these two current, how much you will get? 0.21 plus 0.13, that is 0.34 ampere, and that is nothing but the total current flowing in the circuit, you can see. So in the parallel we know the current get distributed, and the sum of the current across each resistor is equal to the current in the main circuit. We have proved, we have derived it, or we have assumed it in the derivation, and we have proved it here. So once we solve the circuit or any numerical based on the circuit, we need to verify. We must verify if the answer is according to the concept. So if the answer is not according to the concept, means somewhere we have done mistake. So since it is proved and it is coming according to the concept, so everything is correct. So it looks quite lengthy, but once we have understood the concept, we can easily solve the circuit, and you will start finding interest also if you are able to understand the circuit equation. So I hope you have understood this also, and still if you have any doubt you can ask. Overall we are applying just Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So we need to find potential difference across resistor, and if you know the potential difference we can find the current, and for this we have done this long method and process. So there is no shortcut here. So now we can go for the topic, that is advantage and disadvantage, but before that we have two notes. So this is just a trick for you, a shortcut method, that is if n resistors of value R each are connected in series, then the equivalent resistance will be n into R. So for example there are 5 or 20, 30, there are many number of resistors of same value are connected in series. So what will be the total resistance of the combination? So for that we no need to go R1 plus R2 plus R3 something like, okay, we just can apply n into R. So n is the number of resistor and R is the value of each resistor. If each resistor having same resistance in a series combination, then we can apply this direct formula n into R. So one example I have given to you. For example, if there are five resistors of 10 ohm each are connected in series, then total resistance will be just 5 into 10, that is 50. And this is formula coming from the same formula, R1 plus R2 plus R3. You know, if you R1 plus R2 plus R3, if you go on adding, and if each resistance is same, you will get the same, that is NR only. So this is just mathematics to apply in physics. And if n resistors of value R are connected in parallel, then total resistance will be R upon n. So again, if you have many number of resistors connected in parallel, but each one is having same value, if the value is same, then the total resistance will be the value of one resistor or the resistance divided by the total number of resistors we have connected. So for example, if we have 4 resistors and each value is 20 ohm, and if they are connected in parallel, then equivalent will be 20 upon 4, that is 5 ohm. So this shortcut method you have if we have resistors connected in series and parallel of same value, so we can apply this. So in that case we no need to go for the equation R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus something like, okay. So let's go for the advantage and disadvantage of series and parallel, and we'll start with the series combination. So let's see. So we know in series combination the different appliances will be connected next to next in the same line or same path. So here we have two different bulbs. Just for example, bulbs are taken, but it can be any devices and any number of devices. We can have a fan, a bulb, a tube light, refrigerator, televisions, all the appliances that we have at home, they can be connected in one line. So that will be series combination, and they can be connected in parallel also. So what are their advantages and disadvantages that we are trying to understand here? So just to understand, I'm taking two bulbs A and B connected in series with a battery 120 volt, or we can say a power supply of 120 volt, and there is a switch also. Now very first read out, same current will flow through each appliances. So this can be advantage or disadvantage, it's up to you, or it's up to the requirement. Sometimes we need that current should be same in all the appliances, passing through each appliances. In that case series combination is the best option, okay. But sometimes the requirement can be different. So if our requirement is the current should be same, so we can go for series, and we know in series the current is same. This is the one thing. Second one, all appliances can be controlled by one switch only, that is all the appliances will on and off together, hence we cannot have individual switch for each appliances. So we know in series combination the path is same, so we cannot have one switch for each appliance, because if for example for bulb A we have one switch and for bulb B we have another switch, so if out of these two switches any one switch is off, then circuit will be open, so current will not flow. So even if we switch on the other bulb, it will not work. So in series combination we cannot have one switch for each appliance, that is not possible. So the entire circuit will be, or all the appliances in a series will be controlled by just one switch. So all the appliances will just be switched on at a time and switched off at a time. So that is again can be advantage or disadvantage, that is again based on the requirement. If we want all the appliances to work together, means they should on and off together, we can go for series combination, that is the best option we have. But if you want to have individual control, means a bulb A should glow, bulb B should not glow, then you know this is not possible in this series combination, because the path is same. If any one bulb is not working, so it is understood the circuit is open, even other bulb will not work. Number 3, if any one appliance get damaged or fused, the other appliances will also not work. It is understood. Just take example, if there are two bulbs A and B, if bulb A is fused, means the filament of bulb A is broken, and if the filament is broken, the circuit will be open, so entire circuit will be open. So even B will not work, bulb B will not work, because the circuit is open, current will not flow through any appliances. So that is the disadvantage of the series combination, that is if any of the appliances not working or getting damaged, the entire circuit will not work. So it's difficult also to find out which appliance is not working, okay. So another disadvantage. Fourth one, each appliances will get potential difference according to their internal resistances. So we know in the series combination the potential difference across each resistor may be same, may be different also, because the potential difference get distributed. And since current is same through each and every resistor or each and every appliances in series combination, and we know V is equal to IR, I is same, but the resistance of each appliance may be different. So based on the internal resistance, means every appliances they have internal resistance, I have already said. So based on their internal resistance, the potential difference across each appliance will be different. So if the resistance is very high, so I into R will be high, V will be high, potential difference will be more. And if the resistance is less, the potential difference will be low. So in that case, the circuit will not work properly. Okay, so another disadvantage that in the series combination, each one will not get same potential difference. The voltage across each appliances will not be same, and that will create a problem in the circuit somewhere. So, and the last one, separate fuse wire cannot be connected for each appliances, as all are getting same, as all get same current. And one more thing you should know, like different appliances we have at home, like the refrigerator, television, bulbs, we have fan, tube lights, or any other appliances you think of. Each one is having somehow different requirement of electric current. So they are not getting same current. So based on their requirement, we should have the fuse also. If you remember the concept of fuse, that basically controls the flow of current in a circuit. And if the current will exceed the limit, the fuse will break the circuit and it will prevent the appliances from getting damaged. So for each appliance we have different fuse wire of different rating. Different rating means how much is the requirement of the current. Based on that we select the fuse wire. But in the series we know each and every appliance will have same current. So very first, all the appliances will not work because their requirement may not be same. Second one, if they are connected in that way, the fuse wire cannot be connected separately because the fuse wire can not work for different appliances with the same current. So that is another disadvantage. If you want to have the separate fuse wire for each appliance, then in series it's not so possible, because in series current is same, so we cannot have different ratings of the fuse wire for different appliances. So overall, if you compare all the points, we have mostly disadvantages in the series, and that is why we go for the parallel. So you'll see in the parallel almost everything is opposite. So let's see. So circuit, you can see there are two bulbs A and B. Now they are connected in parallel, and you can see 120 volt power supply, and bulb A is connected with switch 1 S1, that is, and bulb B is connected with switch S2, and you know this is possible. So let's see one by one points. So all appliances will get same potential difference. So we know in the parallel, bulb A and bulb B both are connected with the same battery, with the same two terminals of the battery. So both the bulbs A and B will get the same potential difference. So we have different power of bulb also, 20 watt, 100 watt, 120 watt. Any bulb you connect in parallel, the potential difference across each will be same, and that is the requirement. So when the appliances are made, basically it is made so that it can work with a potential difference of 220 volt in India. So if power supply is of 220 volt, means all the appliances should work with 220 volt, and that is only possible if they are connected in parallel. So very first, in the parallel, all the appliances will get same potential difference. So it is advantage only. Each appliance can have its individual switch, and it is understood. That is bulb A and bulb B. You can see if bulb A is connected with switch S1. So if you switch on the switch S1, current will flow through this bulb A and bulb A will glow. If you switch off S1, the bulb will not glow. Same with the bulb B, that is S2. And you know, the bulb A and bulb B, they are in the different path. So even if the switch S1 is off, the bulb A may not work or will not work, but bulb B can work because S2 will be closed. If S2 is closed, the current can flow through B. So in the general, we can see here that in parallel combination, bulb A, bulb B, or all the appliances can have its own switch, and we can control it individually. So if you just want A to glow, we can switch on the bulb A with the help of switch S1. If you just want B to glow, S2 can be switched on. If you want both to be off, S1 S2 both can be closed, open, and we can do anything with the switch S1 and S2. So this is the advantage of parallel combination, which was not possible in the series combination. Okay. Third, electric current for each appliances can be controlled with the help of their internal resistances. Now I have already said for every appliances the current requirement may not be same, and if they are connected in series, then some appliances can get damaged, some appliances will not work, because if the requirement of the current is less and if the appliance is connected in the circuit where the current is high, so it will automatically get damaged. So we can control this current with the parallel combination. So we know in the parallel, for example, bulb A and bulb B both are getting same potential difference, so voltage is same. Now if we want less current to flow through bulb A, what we can do, we can increase its internal resistance, because we know current is inversely proportional to the resistance, and since potential difference is fixed, so by just increasing or decreasing the resistance of the appliance, we can change the current flowing through it, because we know in the parallel combination the electric current can be distributed, and that will totally be decided on the internal resistance. So all the appliances that we have in the market or the appliances we are using at home, they have internal resistance, and most probably they have different internal resistance depending upon how much current they need. So that can be controlled in the parallel, but in series again it's not so possible. Okay. Separate fuse wire of required rating can also be connected. So this is also understood. Since in the parallel each path is different, so we can have a individual fuse wire also. Means if one appliance needs very high current, we can have the fuse wire of very high rating. Rating means which can tolerate high current. If the appliance needs very less current, we can have separate fuse wire for that appliance of low rating. So that is possible in the parallel combination, and in this way each appliances can be safe, can be prevented from getting damaged because of excess current in the circuit. So, and the last one, it is understood if any one appliance get damaged in parallel, it will not affect the other. For example, in this case, if bulb A is fused, so it's okay, this path is open, so bulb A will not glow, but still it has nothing to do with bulb B, because bulb B is connected in a different path. So even if the bulb A is fused or this path is open, the path B can be closed and current can flow through B and bulb B will work. So that is another advantage of parallel combination, and you can see each and every points are totally opposite, and that is why at home the appliances that we are having in the circuit, they are connected in parallel only. That you should know now. So at your home, your bulb, your refrigerator, your television, your tube lights, or any appliances that you have, they are connected in parallel only. For each appliances you have a separate switch also at home. So each one is having one switch by which you are controlling. If you want only one fan to work, you are switching on that fan only, other fans may be off. If you just want one bulb to glow, only you are switching on that bulb. If one of the bulb is fused, other are still working, and you can replace the fuse one. And each appliances, they have different fuse wire also. So basically at home all the electric appliances are connected in parallel, because it has lots of advantages as compared to the series. So I hope this point is clear and you can differentiate the series and parallel combination in the circuit. So based on this, just one question will be given to you today. So today class is done, that is topics are done, and I have uploaded one worksheet also. Go through this, solve it, and if you are finding any difficulty, just let me know, we'll discuss in the live session. So the question you have today is, if n resistors of value r are first connected in series and then in parallel, find the ratio of equivalent resistance in both cases. Means you have n number of resistors and each resistor is having value r. So very first you connect this n resistors in series and you find the equivalent resistance, and then the same number of resistors of same value they are connected in parallel, and again you find the equivalent resistance. So you find the equivalent resistance in series and in parallel one by one, and now you have got two different values. You have to find the ratio of these two values, that is equivalent resistance in series and in parallel. Find the ratio of the two, and I hope you can answer it. Okay, so because I have already given the concept. So for today class is done. We'll continue this chapter, and I hope you are finding interest, and still you have any doubts, just write down so we can discuss in the live session. And not to worry, because we'll do lots of numerical. So thank you, take care, be safe, Hari Om.